This is an example of what our project could look like. This is how I created my art. I created a butterfly using the idea of Aboriginal art. You are welcome to make any animal of your choice and use any materials you have available to you. Hello boys and girls, and welcome back. This week in art we're going to be looking at Aboriginal art. So we're going to start with a pencil and an eraser. I'm going to use color pencils, but you can use any materials you have. So I'm folding my paper in half so that I can make sure that I place the animal of my choice in the center. I'm going to be drawing a butterfly, but you can choose any animal you like to draw in the center of your paper. So I folded my paper in half, and now I'm drawing the body of my butterfly right in the center. And I'm going to try to see if I can make it symmetrical, and that means the same on both sides. So you don't have to make a butterfly, you can make any animal of your choice. If you do something like a butterfly, you might want to make sure that it is symmetrical on both sides. So here's a little trick to making something look symmetrical or the same on both sides. If I use my pencil and I trace it really dark, and I press the pieces together, it might transfer a little bit of the graphite from the pencil onto the other side of the paper. So I'm going to try that now, and I'm rub to see if I can create the wings on the other side, and it'll be very light. So it's very light on there that I can see the other side of the wings. So I'm not sure if the camera is able to pick up the pencil lines, but they're very faint on the other side of the paper. So I'm just following those pencil lines as best as I can that transferred over to the other side. Again, this is an option that you can use. This is a little trick. You do not have to do this in your work, but it is an opportunity to try it if you would like to. So I'm just going to go in and trace those lines and try to make the wings on my butterfly look similar, almost the same. It's not going to be quite the same because it can't be exact, but it looks pretty similar, and I'm happy with how it looks on both sides. So if you look at the sample artwork that I have provided on the next slide, you can see that there's lots of detail in Aboriginal art, and there's lots of different symbols in Aboriginal art. So you can tell that there's lots of circles and lots of shapes in it. So what I've started doing is kind of creating a pattern that goes around the butterfly and on the corners of the page. And now I'm going to start adding details to my butterfly to make it look like an Aboriginal artwork. You are welcome to add any details that you like around your animal form. Like I said before, I'm doing a butterfly, but that does not mean that you also have to do a butterfly. You can choose any animal that you like to create your Aboriginal artwork. So what I'm doing now inside the butterfly, since the butterfly's wings are symmetrical, they look the same on both sides, I'm going through and adding detail and making sure that I am adding the same detail to the other wing. So if I add any lines or any circles or any shapes, I have to add it to the other side, to the other wing. Along with this video are different symbols that Aboriginals used to identify certain objects. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking at that worksheet that I provided in this slide, and I'm looking at what I can add that you would see near my animal. So my animal is a butterfly, and so I'm adding these honey ant symbol to the sides of my butterfly. And I'm trying to go along with the idea of symmetry, so that if I do that symbol on one side of my butterfly, I also need to draw that symbol on the other side of my butterfly. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to check out that list, that reference, that handout of all the different shapes that Aboriginals used in their artwork, and I'm going to add it to my artwork. I don't want to add things that don't make sense, that you wouldn't see inside an area with that animal that you chose. So make sure you look at that reference sheet and see which objects you would also find near your animal of your choice. Now that I have all my symbols drawn in pencil, I'm going to use a black marker to outline all the details, and then I'm going to finally, lastly, color in my design with different color pencils. You don't have to use color pencils, you can use anything you like. Alright, boys and girls, and there you have it, some Aboriginal artwork using your animal of choice, making sure you have lots of patterns, shapes, and following that handout to make it appear with the Aboriginal art in mind. Hope you enjoy this. See you next time.